My name's Richard Barke. I teach in the School of Public Policy at Georgia Tech, and I can't begin to compete with the beautiful ideas that you just heard. I'm here to talk more about the reflections and the sentiments of those of us at Georgia Tech, our remembrances of Liam, and our impressions of him. It turns out I share more in common with Liam than I realized. I also went to Briar Lake and to Lakeside. And when I was an undergraduate at Georgia Tech, I wanted to grow sideburns like that. I wasn't able to. I had to wait several years and grow a beard instead. Liam took a class from me. I knew him in a number of ways in the School of Public Policy. For most people, college is a time of becoming, of unfolding, of developing a direction and a purpose in life. For Liam, we suspect that he already had those when he arrived. He found direction. He started his momentum before we ever met him. Many of you knew him much better than I did. We tend to see one or two dimensions of our students in our classes, but with Liam, you always suspected that there was so much more there. The phrase that I would use to describe him was that he was self-contained. I remember him sitting in the back of a classroom, and occasionally something would be said, and the rest of the class would be fairly inert. And I would see him smile, and I would wonder what it was he was thinking, because he was connecting. He was connecting in a way that no one else was. He didn't need his professors and his classes to help him find a way. He used us in a very positive way to accomplish that which he knew that he needed to do. He stood out. He was unusual because he had his own internal guiding vector. He was a vector. He saw no boundary between intellect and passion, between studies and action, between being a student and being someone who was already accomplishing. He was a wonderful combination of a great intellect and a great heart. Less than 2 months ago, when the School of Public Policy gave Liam its Outstanding Undergraduate Student of the Year award, I remarked that I had never used the word mycology or mushroom in an award ceremony before, and didn't expect to ever again. This is what makes the loss of Liam, for us in our school, but also for his community and our world, so much more tragic. And when you try to imagine what other words we would have been able to attach to his work in the coming years and decades, words that don't normally pull disparate pieces of the world together, I can't imagine. I don't think any of us can. He was so capable, so ready, so intent on contributing in so many ways that this is where the world of people who never knew Liam experienced their tragedy Monday night, the loss of someone who no one could doubt was going to make a difference. Ian has already read some of the things that people at Georgia Tech have said about Liam, but I wanted to give voice to the thoughts of several others, people that he worked with or who knew him well. Terry Blum, the former dean of the Management College and the sponsor of a competition called Ideas to Serve. She wrote and said, "We intend to remember and honor Liam's envisioning of a better world at the Ideas to Serve finals in March 2012. His inspiration will make us all work harder to collaboratively realize the future that he wished for everyone. His spirit will pervade and enhance what we do." She also reminded me of Liam's ArcFab description on YouTube. You need to go to YouTube and search for ArcFab, A-R-K-F-A-B, write it down. In it, Liam describes the Georgia Tech Sustainable Food Project, which, if you don't know, brought in over $150,000 in local, organic, fresh produce into Georgia Tech's dining halls, and makes you wonder how many Georgia Tech students or others could be experts that could plan a multi-stage bioconversion process that upcycles organic waste streams to produce gourmet foods, all within 10 miles of their markets. Go and search for ArcFab. One of his co-workers at GTRI, where he was still involved, Kevin Caravati, said, "Liam had been collaborating with research faculty at GTRI on sustainable urban agriculture systems. He proposed to use farm waste as a biofuel source and attracted the attention of automotive industry leaders and top engineering professors at Georgia Tech." This is from somebody who just graduated. He went far beyond concept ideation. He was an implementer. He produced the CAD drawings, built the prototypes, formed a network of collaborators in downtown Atlanta that gave him access to a living laboratory, 4 acres of land along the Beltline. One of the research engineers at GTRI, Joseph Goodman, said, Liam's motives were truly selfless. He operated with open source ideas and designs and incorporated teaching and outreach as the heart of his actions. His network included a nurturing family, caring friends, all of you, heads of state agencies, community and business leaders, and hundreds of students throughout Atlanta. One of his fellow students, Sam Tutner, wrote and said, what inspired me the most about Liam was his ability to align beliefs and actions. He was able to truly practice what he preached. Sherry Bresnitz, one of his professors, said, Liam made a difference. For me, he made a difference, both in class and in my personal life. He came to class to learn, but not just by listening, by questioning everything I said or told the class to read. He wanted to learn, to understand the reasoning behind everything. He was passionate especially about sustainability and equality. I am a better teacher teaching a better course because of him. Ian already mentioned a fellow student, Laurel. She sent a slightly longer message, which I have to read at some length. She said, Liam was always thinking beyond his years and beyond himself. His passion, drive, and conviction stood out far and above others in class. In all honesty, I was extremely intimidated by someone who was so young but could see so far and so big and so absolutely. When we finally spoke, I realized that Liam was not only a great visionary, he was also a remarkably kind person. If I was ever confused or behind in class, he was always willing to clarify material and even share his incredible notes. His help was a huge deal too, because he was one of the only students I have ever met that actually did all of his reading before class. He rescued the rest of us students on countless occasions when professors would ask questions about the previous night's reading assignment. Needless to say, we will always be thankful. He kept a strong perspective on life throughout his time at Tech, evidenced by the fact that he did not share even one set of notes with me that did not include jokes and witticisms sprinkled all throughout them. Though the professors may not appreciate some of Liam's more clever remarks if they ever got hold of them, this was my favorite side of Liam. He was studious, he was driven, but above all, he was himself. I wrote back to Laurel after I saw this, and I said, could you share with me some of those witticisms in the margins? And she said, actually, I think I deleted those files, so his secrets are still safe. Travis Horsley, who is in Chile now, but his parents are here with us today, wrote and said, Liam was a dear friend to me. His passion shined through every piece of work that he created. He wrote policy papers that were written not just to please a professor, they were written almost as a work of art to give honor and dignity to what was locked up in that mind of his. There was no mission impossible for this British chap, as he would jokingly call himself sometimes. A pragmatic problem solver, an exuberant environmentalist, a sustainable fungus farmer. I could go on with many names that make me think happy thoughts of Liam. I mourn for his departure, but remember the beautiful times we had together as colleagues and friends. A wise person once said that the best way to live your life is to prepare for your eulogy, to live the life that you would want to be remembered at your memorial service. This is my first eulogy, and it was surprisingly easy to prepare because Liam made it obvious what should be said, and those of us at Georgia Tech will miss him greatly.